Hey, what's up, guys? We're back here at the Wing Chun Science Gym after our class that we just had here. We were laughing a little because something just happened just right before we put the mics on, and it involves hair chest. But anyway, so today's talk is going to be I'm hoping that it's profound enough for somebody to give some feedback, and it's going to be more about leaders and followers. And I completely forgot what the title was going to be. Mindset, leaders and followers. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there, and then we're gonna just start talking. If anybody has anything to say, just jump straight in. But before we do, my 2 cents in it is that with the mindset that we develop, and it is something that we have to develop, it's like you're either going to go in a leadership type of role in life, or you're going to go into this follower type of mindset in life. Now, this is with or without any martial arts or sports. This is just in life, okay? But if you are in a martial art, again, this will carry along inside that cage. So, what I like to espouse, what I like to grow, what I like to nourish here is a leadership type of mindset. All right, so we want to go more towards leadership with the type of things that we put in our mind, the type of things that we're thinking about, the type of things that we think we can't do, can and cannot do. So it's that type of thinking that sets the trajectory or the course of our life with how we comport ourselves in every other facet in our everyday life. So for me, I'm more about a leadership mindset, and that's what we try to put in here in everything that we do. And you can see, God, you
Yeah.
can just
Yeah, I just actually just started recently going into the leadership mindset. I started off with zero experience, so I just stayed humble and kept my mouth shut and just learned from who I think is the best. And Yeah, just now I'm starting to feel comfortable being a leader and teaching people things that I see that they're not doing,
yes,
properly.
yes. And with you, right? So first of all, what makes Samir uh, good as a leader is that he's a good student. Now, a student doesn't mean that you're a follower. Okay, a student means that you're always learning, and a person who's always learning will metamorphosize ultimately into a leader. That's the beginning of a leader. It's because you're always learning. So now you have the hiccups in the road and the bumps that you go through in life, and because you're learning, you will continue to grow, and you will be a great leader because you went through stuff. Now that's because again you're always learning, but it doesn't mean you're a follower. So a follower is told what to do and they do it, no questions asked, and they'll go with the masses. And then fast forward 20, 30, 40 years in your life, you're writing hate notes to people because you weren't a leader enough. You didn't develop the leadership skills to live your day, your everyday life, with all of the ups and downs that life throws at us, in order to grow out of that kind of sheep mentality, that type of, oh, I'm just learning. This is my sphere. This is as far as I can go. This is what the cards were dealt to me, and this is all I have. And then have a hatred towards everybody because of your inadequacies. To me, a leader is going to take any situation and through his mindset know that, okay, these are the cards that have been dealt with, and this is what I'm going to do in order to get myself out. And again, that is a mindset thing. The mind is literally going to be your poison, your toxin, your choice of death, or it's going to be the thing that gets you out of the mire. And that's something that you have to train yourself. But here in this gym, I mean, it's kind of like it's a byproduct. It's something that we push, that we promulgate. That's something that we want people to be more than just fighters. It's getting that mindset so that, yes, when you're in a cage, but also for everyday life. We don't like uh, excuses. We don't like, punkish type of attitudes. We don't like woe is me. We don't like it's their fault. It's not my fault. I mean, you take responsibility in your life for the things that you're responsible for, and sometimes that's the bad thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Right?
I agree. I agree. I
I
feel like
get you.
I felt I knew I was different right away when I first got in a classroom. You know what I mean? When I was a little ass kid,
Yeah.
like I knew right away. I'm like, yo, everybody's like, yo, y'all like this crap?
Yes.
I'm just looking like, am I the only little kid? This is crap, man. I'm
Yes.
like full of like
Yes.
energy. I need to be doing something,
Yes.
man. I need to be somebody strong. This guy's weak, man.
Yes.
So I feel like somebody strong needs to be teaching me or something, and not just physical strength, but like you get what I'm saying, like a
Yes.
commanding voice. That's what the whole military is based on. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that firm discipline that they create leaders there, and also you
Yes.
find out who's just a little follower as
Yeah.
well. Like they
Yeah.
just they
Exactly.
snitch out to the drill sergeant right away and shit
Uh-huh.
like that. Those are the
Uh-huh.
little followers. The leaders will just help you out. Like
Yes.
I don't need to snitch you out, but I'm gonna just fix you, bro. I'm gonna fix you
Exactly.
out. So it's little things like that. But
Well, it's an interesting point, right? So now, what I'm gonna say, of course, is gonna be taboo and controversial to everybody, and everybody takes whatever message they get and they dissect it in whatever way you see fit. But like the education system, for example, like I was not good in school, but I am great in learning. I consider myself someone who is a sponge, receptive to learning and growing, and I love education. I just don't like the facility of education. To me, anything that's institutionalized, to me, has four walls, and those four
it's
walls,
like jail.
yeah,
It's the same
it's
concept. Same concept.
institutionalization.
Yeah.
And so it is, as a leader, it doesn't mean, again, so don't take me wrong out there, you guys who are like kids, and you don't go out and become a rebellion against life. Okay, there are ramifications to your actions, but at the same time, a leader knows that there's more beyond the surface, and that is what I'm saying by institutionalization. And that actually gets spilled on, over to the martial arts world. One of the reasons why we don't do belts is, and there's nothing wrong with belts in the grand scheme of things, but one of the reasons we don't is because it kind of brings this institutionalization. It's like, okay, Samir did great today, good boy, you did this curriculum, here's this belt, and I want you to work just as hard as your fellow brother over here. And so there's a competitiveness, okay, and I think every gym should have that, okay. But what you're doing is you're creating this separation, okay, this dichotomy between his belt and his belt. And in life, that's called classism. And so he feels he's never going to get to this belt, and this guy walks around with arrogance because he knows that he's at this belt. And then the other guy, he's got an even darker belt, and then he walks around with an even bigger arrogance. And the truth of the matter is, like, I'm not trying to say that they didn't earn these belts. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying, guys. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, we're creating factions, institutionalizing people into their own little silos when we start doing these things. It's the same way, and I made a video of this a long time ago. If I say I'm the first Puerto Rican to open up a gym in Tampa, okay, so let's say I was an individual who was the first one to open up a gym in Tampa, okay, as an example. I already made a separation, a delineation, a line, a demarcation by saying I'm the first Puerto Rican. So, yes, there is some pride in my ethnicity, but once I said that, I've automatically separated myself. Well, why can't he just be the first guy in Tampa who created the gym, who opened up the gym? Why did he have to throw in Puerto Rican? Because then someone else is going to throw they're the first black guy, they're the first Asian person, they're the first, so on and so forth. And everybody creates these separation, and they put themselves in their own little silos. And at the end of the day, everybody says we should all get along and we're really just one, but their words don't really match the way they live. And again, that type of mindset puts you in a sheep mentality, and you start to really like get angry at life and people. And all of a sudden, you're upset and angry at different other people simply because all of these separations were made that just got you further and further away with this chasm.
I think though, like when it comes to the belts, I feel like it goes down to the person too, because it's like you can have someone that's like a black belt and they're like humble and they never mention
Yeah.
it and they just did it. They worked hard, they did it, and they did what they had to do because it goes back to the whole conversation beginning, the whole leader and follower.
Yeah.
They're a leader if they're a born leader.
they're not gonna be bragging and looking down at someone because they're lesser belt if they're a leader. Like they'll be a black belt and they'll be humble about it. They'll teach, they'll help. That's they have a leader like quality to them, and that in that case, it's not really the system that messed. It's the person, because then you have people that are a blue belt, and these guys are like some of them might be like crazy cocky and like look down at the white belts, and they're only one belt away, and it's
Yeah,
like it's kind
yeah,
of it
yes.
goes down to the person. So it's not really this. It's not really like, in my opinion, when it comes to the belts, at least, like it's not really the system. It's more so it goes down to the individual. If you're always gonna be a sucker, you're gonna be a sucker at a black belt or a white belt. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be a leader, you're gonna be a leader at a black belt or a white belt.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I guess again to reword or restate what I'm saying. So, for example, Leonardo da Vinci, right? So here's a natural born genius. He's a talent, right? He was a scientist. He was an architect. He was an artist. He was a sculptor, and he was a real natural artist, a Renaissance type of man. And here's a guy that if you were to take him out and put him into an institution and say, wow, this guy would be great in our institution, which later on in life he eventually did, but it was more about money and it was about clout and it was about position, which brings me to my same point. My thing is you can't take that guy and say, okay, we're gonna create a system for you, Leonardo, with your natural proclivities, your natural sway or bent towards something that you're already naturally good at, and we're gonna put it in a system, and then when you get out of this system, this grade will then put you here when we see deem.
But it takes a leader to break out of it. It's an individual. Individual.
Yes,
At
a
the end of the
leader.
day, he can
Yes,
choose to get like us. We don't do belts here,
yes,
so we chose not to do that, and that's because we want to do it in a different way, and
true.
we're trying to raise leaders and not
Leaders.
sheep. But
Yes.
it's like, but kudos to you if you're doing the belt system, because at the end of the day, you can still be a leader in the belt system. It's just it's the individual.
It
Like
depends
if
on
you
the
don't want to
individual.
do it, if you don't want to go to school, then don't go to school. If you don't want to do the belts, don't do the belts.
Yeah.
If you want to and you still are a leader in that, in the system, you're still going to be a leader,
Yeah.
then that's your leader. It goes down to
True.
the
True.
individual. At the end of the day, it always goes down to the individual.
True. I guess yes. At the end of the day, the
Because we
individual.
can't blame the system. At the end of the day, like we don't. The system is the system. They set us. Everyone, they already set us up to fail. So it's
Yeah.
like we can't. Now we got to work around it. We could choose to play the game in the system and work with it and be leaders while doing the system, going to high school, then going to college, then getting a
Yeah.
job and getting 401k and all that.
Yeah.
You can choose to be a leader in that system or break out of the system completely and be a leader somewhere else. So like
Yes.
really, it's a
We play out of the matrix.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There we go.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so like that's again, that's another perfect. So like again, you're born into poverty, right? You're born in the ghetto. Divorced parent. You're on welfare. You're eating less than savory foods. You get the cheapest sneakers, the cheapest clothing, right? And so you, in all sense of the words, you are in poverty. You are, if we are in an institution we call life slash the government slash whatever it is, there's where you were born. And then you have someone who's born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he's born into wealth, and he's born into, and so it seemingly seems like he's got the benefit, the edge, right? So does that mean this guy born in poverty, on welfare, with the cheapest clothes, on divorced family, so there is no parental guidance, no father figure? So is there an excuse for this guy to then continue on a path that's just straight down to hell, because he could just say, well, this is what I was born into. I mean, hey, like, look at the rich guy, I don't have what he has, and then just hate the rich guy? Or say, okay, this is the game that we're playing, this is the game, this is what I've been dealt with, and then now rise out of the mire and then go play that same game, and you could be just as good. To me, that is what I'm talking about with leader. Yes, there's going to be certain things that you just bound to. Oh yeah, it's gonna. I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
and
no.
again, please interject. I mean, we all come from
Yeah, I
different.
think you were referencing my life, right?
Yeah. Silver spoon.
Richie Rich,
Blue
No,
eyes.
the poverty
Samirish.
part, the poverty.
Oh.
The divorcee, my mom. Shout out to my mom.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to mom. Yeah, no,
But
but
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right? There comes a point in your life where the excuses have to stop, and if they don't stop, We are all living on the same planet. We are all human beings. We are all, again, whatever your disposition is or your position in life is, this is where we're at. You don't just roll over and die. And at the same time, I don't go hating. So if you were born, so let's say you weren't born a millionaire, right? But you bust your butt, you're doing your thing, you make connections. Someone says, "Oh yeah, that Lobo man, you see the way he works, man. This guy's like a beast. Yo, he had a good idea. We can put the create this little hitch thing. Pa pa pa." They speak to you, yo. I like your work ethic, man. And forget education, forget where you came from, and then just like that, someone, because of, despite or in spite of your situation, says, "Yo, I like what you bring to the table. I like to do a little contract with you. Is it all right if we do a contract? I mean, we can only do 1 million a year for you now, but and boom." So you went literally from poverty to being a millionaire because of your work ethics, right? So now, but let's say you never liked millionaires. Do you take the million because it was due to you out of your recognition, or do you repudiate it? Do you turn it down
Yeah,
because that's not what you like?
I think I think which ties in what you're saying. I think the opportunity never arises to you because you're blocking that. You keep sweating, oh, these rich people, these
Yeah.
people that they made it and this and that. I'll never relate to them. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You're right. You ain't never gonna be that, bro.
Yes.
Whereas a person that dreams and works hard for it,
Yes.
they can be that.
Yes.
Yeah, those opportunities do arise. Like what
I
you're saying.
agree. So that's what I'm saying. There's a leader in all of us that says, okay, this is my disposition. This is where I'm at. We got that. You look at my life, you can see. I can second that. This is where I'm at. But I also know that there's more, but not that there's more. I know that I can do more. I know that I can lead more. I know I can be successful, whatever that quote unquote success is. Because success might be like, okay, I never made more than $5,000 a year, and now I'm making 30,000. That's successful, right? In the family, he went from 5,000, boom, he's
That's
making
horrible
30.
though.
Huh?
That's the guy calling that success. I gotta talk to you, pal.
That's kind of like slavery at that point, right?
Jesus.
But then 30 goes to 60, and 60 is 120. And then it's like,
Now we talk.
we create what I'm saying is, but that is something that you have to create. It's something that you have to go out, and it all kind of leads into, because we're in the fighting art, right? It leads into fighting. Okay, this guy, he's been training since he's 2 years old. His parents paid for every single class that he's ever done. And his parents paid for the wrestling. His parents paid for the jujitsu. His parents paid for, and he never had to worry about because his parents paid for it. They were taking care of it. He had a nice cush room, and he had his nice, $1,000 phone that he can text. And here he is, he's in the MMA world, and he's doing everything simply because it was afforded to him. And kudos to him. That's great. Then you got someone who never had that opportunity, who's dirty, who's gritty, but he's like, you know what? I look at that guy, he's had it all, and it was been given to him. Again, I'm not hating on him. I'm going to work like a beast to get that same thing because I'm a fighter. And then that mindset is what changes your ideology, your methodology, your way of thinking. And if you don't, you'll always succumb to excuses. You'll always succumb to excuses. I don't have this because boom. I don't do this because boom. And it's always boom, boom, boom. Outside, it's never introspect. It's never you looking at yourself. Life is hard. And the thing is, it's either you fall and fail, and then you just point at everybody else, and that's the mindset that you have because you've always been a follower. That's what you're going to be unless something changes up here, which is called in my day responsibility. Responsibility, accountability. These are words that used to mean something, and then you say, hey, well, I just got to muster up what I got to do, and I got to go out there and do what I got to do, and that's it.
These are the cards I was dealt. I gotta play my
That's it.
hand and try to get a better hand
That's
next
it.
time. That's how it is.
Bottom line, right? I was born with light skin. My brother and sister have beautiful mocha skin. Okay, my father has nice dark skin. So do I dwell on the fact that this is what was given to me and I'll never succeed in life because I don't have the same color skin that they have and I'm just a pale ghost. It's like this is the cards I've been dealt with. You understand? And it has no bearing on what it is that you end up producing in your life. Be a producer, someone who produces from a place of fruitfulness, or else you will always be a follower. You'll always be angry, and you'll always blame everybody else and never take accountability for yourself. And that's the difference when I'm talking about mindset between a leader and a follower. And again, I'm talking here with the mic, but you guys, if you feel different, remember, I'm just a regular man like you. Inject and tell me, yeah, you're kind of wrong on that one. I'm
No,
cool
I
with that.
completely agree. No, I completely agree. I used to, like, in the beginning, I thought leaders and followers were completely different. Like, I had a different thought of what that was. But after hearing what you said, I could have, since day one, I could have, like the first day I trained with JoJo, I could have been like, wow, I'm never gonna get to that level,
Yeah, yes.
and then I'd still be in Jersey right now if I had that mindset. But I was just like, I know if I train hard and I do my best, then anything's possible.
Yes, and you make that decision, and that decision is the thing that's going to catapult you in one of two directions.
Mhm.
But you could have said, like, man, I'm so late in the game, man. I don't know if I have these physical attributes, man. I don't. And there's a million things that we talk ourselves out of, right? But that's what a follower does. That's someone who's weak. That's someone who, I'm sorry, we live in America, and this video is probably going to be mostly in America. Okay, there's no excuse. Is it easy? No way. It's not easy. Okay, so yes, the people who have the upper hand, all good. Hey, forget that. My thing is, there is a way. You just got to resolute in your mind that you're gonna do it, and then go and do it. End of story. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay. And I think that that's where people get. That's where everything gets unbalanced. Well, it's so difficult for me, and why is it easier for me? Because it is. That's it. That's the way it is. But if you're a leader, you're gonna find a way to do it. End of story. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what I would love to breed here. Our leaders. And then when that gets carried along, when that thing is being implemented in your everyday life, I guarantee you go into this cage with a different mindset. And already you have a win in your mind. Period. And that's the difference I think that we kind of instill in the people that come in and out of our lives, our daily lives, but also in the gym as well.
Well, not too long ago, and still present day, you can tell a follower from a leader right away. But just a couple years ago, super noticeable with their face diapers. We're not gonna get too detailed into that, but all these face diapers, these little face pampers y'all got on, and now you heard what they said. You ain't need it. So it's like, all these
Wow,
face
that was a
diapers.
waste. Yeah,
Hey, man, you need to breathe, man. You need to breathe a little bit.
yeah.
We don't want to get flagged and all that. Canceled and
Yeah. No,
blackballed.
face diaper is a good word. I
Yeah,
don't know if
face
that's
diaper.
the algorithm, yeah, for Instagram and Facebook.
The maxi pad for the upper lips.
Yeah.
Upper
Things,
lips.
things of that nature.
Yes. Just make sure it's up above the nose.
Yes. A little here, make sure it's here, make sure you're breathing in all the carbon that you're supposed to expel. All right. Anyway, guys, please send your comments. Again, write what you think, another topic that you would like to hear that we would be talking about. And I promise you, we're gonna all have mics, and I promise you, we're gonna be talking more. It's not just gonna be me, but these are subjects that are true, near and dear to our hearts, and they're real topics. And these are topics that people want to talk about, but they can't talk about. They don't know who to talk about it. And at this point, I can at least speak for myself. 50 years old, I, I'm done apologizing and being, too smooth and suave with my conversations with people. Some people just don't grow up and they don't learn. And I don't want to be part of their decline in life because I codify their mindset or their ideologies or their way they think. It's like, dude, I love you enough to say, like, come on, snap out of that nonsense. Deep in your heart, and it's not even that deep in your heart. In your heart, you're being a baby. You got to man up. That's it. That's the end of the story with that.
Yeah, there's a lady outside waiting for Jason Statham's autograph. Is that you?
Oh, I gotta go now. Yeah. All right, guys. Listen, the next topic is gonna be we're gonna try to get a little bit more saucy with what it is that we bring to the table, and I promise we will have individual mics so we can just all chime in at the same time. But we're trying to make this better and better, and I'm sure by now you guys already know who we are, how we think, what we think. Like, there's no ambiguity in this. All right. So looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Okay. Peace.